Hello, and welcome back to 298. I hope everybody had a good spring break. All right, so this week on designing and deploying cloud applications, I will go through the feedback on the development the development work everybody submitted, or at least for those who submitted it. And then there's something that's missing here, which is the AWS setup, which is what we'll get started on this week. And finally, this week on CS298. With regards to the homework, which was submitted just towards the end of the first half of the semester, I think everybody that submitted did a great job. I provided feedback, individual feedback on the individual submissions, but one theme that is that cuts across everybody's submission has to do with the look and feel or the aesthetics of your website. And while in a large organization, the look and feel and the functionality will probably be managed by two different individuals or two different groups of people. The look and feel will be managed most likely by a designer, while the functionality, actually, let me back up a little bit. The core HTML and CSS will probably be managed by a designer, and then the JavaScript and other functionality will be most likely managed by a developer. But in this case, for this project, you wear all these hats. You know, you are the admin, you are the developer, you are the designer, you are the business owner, you are the project manager, you are everything. So in this case, that responsibility falls on you. Um, to help people out, I also mentioned this in the feedback, but there are two sites you might want to consider, especially if you struggle with CSS or if you feel you need a little bit more help with CSS. The first one, and I posted two links in Blackboard under course content under resources. The first one is the CSS tutorial on W3 schools. Depending on what level you are with CSS, how much of CSS you understand, what you use as reference here will also be different for each individuals. But here it tells you a whole bunch. It gives you quick access to CSS tags and the what each tag does, how each tag works. But more importantly is what is referred to as Bootstrap. Bootstrap is really a framework for CSS. It was developed by some gentlemen at Twitter back in towards the late, sometimes in 2010, I believe. Um, the whole idea is to make CSS more programmatic. I think I have that tab. Okay, here. So if you were to go to Google and just type CSS, Bootstrap CSS or CSS Bootstrap, most likely the first link you will get will be to this page. I also posted the link to this in under resources in Blackboard as well. Excuse me. So if you come here, it tells you the various tags you can use and how it works. Let's come down a little bit. So if you wanted to create a page, for example, if you wanted to create a page that has 3 cells or 3 columns straight up, you can use the equal medium 4, because basically it has a grid system, and I'm not doing justice to Bootstrap here. You probably just have to go through this, or you could even watch a few YouTube videos on how to use Bootstrap. But for layout purposes, it uses a grid system, and it assumes your page can be cut into up to 12 columns. So if you use col MD4, because 12 divided by 4 is 3. It assumes you want three columns. If you use MD6, it assumes you want 2. If you use MD3 or XS3, it assumes you want 4. Basically, this, with the grid system, you can do very nice layouts. There are other things there too. There's column wrapping. You don't, for this project, don't even worry about mixins and variables, because we are not doing anything necessarily that complex. So don't worry about these ones. Font headers, different levels of text or typography. But bottom line is, at the end of the day, if you use Bootstrap, it reduces how much CSS you need to write, because all you need to do is use their classes, okay? And you don't have to write the CSS yourself. They provide the CSS already. So if you use their classes, you don't have to write the CSS. You don't have to worry about the CSS. It will work across all browsers. It will work whether it's mobile, desktop, or laptop. To pull in Bootstrap into your code or into your HTML, if you come to getting started here, I want to advise you to download it, because again, we're not trying to modify, we're just trying to use it for the purpose of this project. Who knows, maybe if you, once you graduate and you get a job, or even maybe during an internship, if you're working at an organization, they might need to download it and make some modification to suit the organization you're working at. But for the purpose of this project, you do not need to download it. All you need to do is copy this piece of code here. Okay, so let's see if I do copy, okay. And if you paste this in your, actually, why don't I do this? I'm going to use, let me try something here. Okay. I'm going to try this. New HTML file. Let me do new HTML file. Okay, let's call that test.html. And where do I want to put it? I just want to, question is, where do I want to save it? My first site. Okay. I really wish I can just dump this in my, it's not allowing me to. It's not, doesn't want me to actually, okay, cancel. Let me, Atom is old and it's probably, it's probably not an IDE you want to use. So HTML/HTML, right? Head /head, body/body. If you're using a better, you probably should be using a better IDE than Atom. Atom is actually no longer supported, so you shouldn't really be using it. But I have it on my laptop already. So I copied this piece of, where is it? Copied this code earlier by just clicking here. So if I paste this here, this will bring in the CSS for Bootstrap. It's hosted at a CDN, that is a content delivery network. This will bring in another an optional theme. I'm not even going to use that, and you probably won't even need to use that for this project either. Then this will bring in, I believe this is, yeah, Bootstrap JavaScript if you need it. I would rather use, I shouldn't say I would rather use, but I would most likely use jQuery if it's me. But anyway, so let's see. Let's save this, save as. And I'm going to save this on my desktop. So let's call this index.html. It's sitting right there on my desktop. So I need to go get it. Oh, it's right here. All right, so nothing here, right? Okay. So let's look at this. Div, right? /div. And let's say I want to do this. I want to say this is a div. And save. So this comes here. This is my div right there. Let's do this. Let me copy. Let me make another one here. This is div 2. And this is div 3. Okay. So ordinarily save and refresh. All right, so I have 3 divs. If you wanted to use Bootstrap, right, you just need to add the class for it. So if you look in the Bootstrap page, let's look at the grid. I mean, there's a lot that you can do, but grid is normally one of the first ones most people get to, because you want to do your layout first and foremost before. Where's the grid? I'm on the wrong page. Go back. Oh yeah, okay. You want to do your layout, and then you want to do you want to deal with how things look. So this, let's say I want to make a 3-column layout. So this is the class I need, right? Call MD4. I just need to add my class here. Class equals call MD4. No, not 5, 4. And I want to use this for all 3. Paste that. Paste that. Okay. So if you save this and you refresh, see how it splits my page into 3. Well, let's look at this real quick. What if I do call MD8 here? So this is 4 here, and this is 8 here. It pushes this other one down. But what if I were to do call MD3 for all of them? See, and I can easily add a 4th one. Copy. Right, quite easily. And of course, you can use their font sizes as well. Let's see. I know they have typography somewhere. Okay, so this is font. Let's see. You can use small text. If you had, say, you're putting an address on your web page, can you easily use the address tag, and that gets easily understood. Lists. See how this is description. So let's say you have a text, and then what you want to the description for that text right under it. But just by changing the tag, you can actually put it beside it quite easily and quite straightforward. Um, what else? User input blocks. There's one I was looking for font sizes. I think it's FS something. It's going to be somewhere here, but let me try FS2. FS, excuse me. If I do FS6 here, do we see a difference in the font sizes? It's not picking that. So maybe I'm not using the right tag. I know there's an FS something that gives you different font sizes, whether if you want your font to be big, if you want your font to be small, you can do different things. So look into Bootstrap. It should help your CSS, your styling, your look and feel. There are lots of different things you could do: tables, forms, buttons, images. You can style them. It also gives your website a consistent look and feel from one page to the other. Okay. So that's with regards to the homework. Where's my slide? Okay. So that's with regards to the homework. What we'll be looking at this week really is setting up AWS. This was why I was asking earlier a couple of weeks ago that please let me know if you have access to a credit card. You will not be charged, not at all, but it will be used to authenticate you. I recorded a video yesterday to actually walk through the whole AWS setup, and also a quick look at once you get into AWS, what do you see within AWS, the various services you can fire up and all that stuff. I did not go as far as deploying, the static website to AWS yet. This week, I just want us to set everything up. The next week, we'll go into deploying onto AWS. There are two ways we're going to do the deployment. First one, we're going to do deployment using basic S3, and then we will also do the deployment using EC2. What those are and how that will happen, or what's the difference, don't worry about that for now. So at the end of this particular video, I'm going to simply just include the AWS setup video that I recorded yesterday. Okay. But for the homework, what happened? Okay. So that's AWS setup. For the homework that is this week on 298, all I'm asking for is 2 to 3 screenshots of your AWS console. You will know what an AWS console is once you watch the video that I'm attaching to the end of this particular one. That will let me know that you were able to set things up and you are ready to go. If you run into any problems with your AWS setup, let me know ASAP. I will be more than happy to troubleshoot with you or troubleshoot for you or figure out what the problem is. So yeah, the homework for this week is, you setting up your AWS account it's the free tier. Setting that up, take 2, maybe 3 screenshots, upload it into Blackboard under the AWS setup assignment, and call it a day. One other thing I would like feedback on from you guys is the pace at which the class is going. Is it too slow for you? Is it too fast? Or is it just okay? Let me know, because I could make it go faster and I could slow down a little bit. I just want to make sure that everybody is carried along as much as possible without, pulling the class backwards. All right, so I will either talk with you guys during the week via email or when I post my next video next Sunday. Okay, so to set up a free AWS account, if you go to Google, just type AWS free tier account. Okay. And if you click on this, it says start with a free tier account. Just make sure this is, say this URL here, https://aws.amazon.com. You want to make sure that's the URL of the link you are clicking on. So if you do the same search, AWS free tier account, just check the URL of the first link. This is what it should be, aws.amazon.com, before you click on it, because you want to make sure that somebody else is not hijacking your searches, right? So start with a free tier account, sign up for free, and access AWS. And create a free account. Okay. So I have an account, of course, with AWS that I use for that stuff. But we're going to, because it's bringing me to this page. In your case, I don't expect you to bring it to this page. For me, I'm going to click create a new AWS account. And this is what I expect you to see as well. Root user email, AWS account name. So I'm going to use my school email, or Adebayo at nwcc.comnet. Excuse me, is that interesting? I don't always type my own email address. Just want to be sure. Yeah, it's 2 M's. .comnet.edu. Okay. And AWS account name, choose a name for your account. You can change this name, blah, 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 at any time. So I'm just going to call it NWCC. And boom. So it says it should send me a verification code in my email. Let's see if I get that. Okay, it came in right away. My verification code, 953. That's what it is. Verify. Okay. Root password. What do I want that to be? Not going to tell you. Nope, that's for my other account. So contact information, Olumide Adebayo, that's my name. Anyway, how do you spell Adebayo? There you go. Okay, what's my phone number? I'm going to move this off screen for a second, just because these are some personal information. You will have that for you as well, so please feel free to fill those in. Let me fill this in for myself. Just don't want that on the video. Oh, the account type should be personal. There are two types. It's either business or personal. So once I fill that in, then it gets to this page. If you guys remember, I had asked, if you had a credit card that you can use. So it's asking me at this point, and I'm going to put my card information. It's not going to charge you anything. At least you have the first 12 months. And between now and then, you can cancel your account. Or if you want to maintain your account, then you can, by all means, maintain it. Again, I'm going to move this off screen because I don't want this to be captured in the video. Okay. Good question is, I do not even remember. My credit card information is not necessarily with me here. So I might have to. Do I remember what all that is? All right, so that went through, and the next page I get here, it says sign up for AWS, confirm your identity. You can either use a voice call or you can use text message. I'm going to use text message, but then again, I'm going to move this off screen just because I don't want my phone number recorded. And the CAPTCHA is what? That's WHP8CY. That's the CAPTCHA. And so I got this, and I need to put my verification code in there. Okay, 4338. It's a one-time use, so even if it's recorded, it doesn't matter. Select a support plan. Please pick basic. We do not want anybody to get charged, okay? That's very important. Basic. Congratulations. Thank you for signing up. Go to the AWS Management Console. Boom. We click on that. And here we are. Again, it's still showing, that's my own personal. Oops. That's my personal, what's it called? What's that called now? Oh, Adebayo at nwcc.comnet edu. So, next. And I'm going to enter my password here, sign in, and it keeps bringing it. Okay, you know what? Let me save this. So you get to this page. This is your management console. And next thing I'm going to do is do a walkthrough of some of these pages here. Okay, so here is the what is referred to as the AWS console, and most of what you'd need to do to interact with the service is available from here. You just need to navigate around. First and foremost, if you remember when I signed up, I had my account as NWCC. So if you click on NWCC there, you can see a few sections, most importantly, the account section. Actually, that was what I was looking for. Yeah, security credential. Sorry, that's what I was looking for. Here you should be able to change your username and password if you need to. Where is it? Users. Okay. There's users here. No resources to display. 1 second. Account settings. All right. Um, it's interesting. I just saw it a second ago. Oh yeah, there we go. Multi-factor authentication. It's always good to excuse me. It's always good to set this up. It's you've probably used it several times in some other services where after entering your username and password, you will be prompted for a token. That token is either sent to you via text message, via email, or in some cases, depending on the service, there's an app on your phone that automatically generates a new token every minute. So it would be a good idea to set up what's it called, um, two-factor authentication. You can do that through here. I have an authenticator app on my phone because I use that for multiple things. And for those of you that are into gaming as well, you can use it for something like Nintendo and stuff like that, just to secure your account. It's very important. Okay, so let's go back to console home. If you notice this link here. Now you can, if you look down here, you'll see most of the popular, or should I say the most popular AWS services. Some of this you've probably explored in the discussion question we did earlier in the semester. So there is the IAM, that's the Identity and Access Manager or Management. This IAM basically manages who has access to what resources under your AWS account. Identity and access management. So one thing is authentication. That is this person even allowed to log in? The other thing is authorization, which is access. Even though you're allowed to log in, what do you have access to? And then there's EC2 here. EC2 is compute. We will use this. We're not going to use EC2 right now for this first set of deployment, but we'll use EC2 when we for the second set of deployments. Then S3. S3 is storage mostly. Then there's RDS, which is what's it called? Relational database systems, and then there's Lambda. Lambda is a service where you don't have to worry about the server itself or the compute engine itself to run code. I'm not sure if I'll get into Lambda, but this semester, but we'll see. Then you have a bunch of other widgets down here. A lot of these widgets you can customize them, you can remove them, you can move things around as you want. Here you'll see the health of your services, if something was down, something has been up, how long it's been up for, cost and usage. Of course, here you can see billing information and all that stuff. Explore AWS, announcements, blogs, all of that. Just a bunch of widgets, and over time you can customize what you see here too. I'm not necessarily going to spend much time on this. What I think is important at this point right now is if you see here, we have services And you know what? So I'm using Chrome. I want to believe you will see the same thing. Let me try this in Firefox. Copy. Um, well, well. So that's for the Java class, but paste and go. See. I just want to see it here. All right, save it. All right, so in Firefox as well, there's a services icon here. And for those on Windows, I hope it shows up the same way in Edge or in Safari if you're using Safari on the Mac. All right, let me get back to Chrome. Now that I know that you see exactly the same thing in other browsers. So if you click on services here, you see a grouping or a categorization of all AWS services. For example, if you click on database, it tells you all the various databases that are supported, Amazon DocumentDB, and all of that. Well, you're probably surprised that, hey, wait, MySQL, which is one of the most popular databases, is not supported. Well, it is. There are other ways that people get MySQL to work on AWS, though it's not an out-of-the-box solution like this. There are other out-of-the-box solutions for MySQL. Let's see, developer tools. You have all this shell, Cloud Shell, and all that stuff. Machine learning, for those of you who might later on choose to go into what's it called, neural networks, artificial intelligence, and stuff like that. Down here, there's storage. So that's where you will see Glacier, you will see S3. What else? Compute. Here is where you will see, I believe, Lambda and EC2. The various compute systems that Amazon supports. If I click on EC2 here, and it brings me to this page, and we will see this at the second half of the second half of the semester. I hope that doesn't sound awkward. Second half of the second half. Anyway. So what else is here? This is analytics. It's just a bunch of different types of services or infrastructure that you can make use of within the AWS ecosystem. Some of this you've researched already this semester, or you might have heard about, and they are most of them are all. I should say all of them are available during the free tier. Okay, maybe a very few might not be available, but most of them are available. This is blockchain. If you're interested in cryptography and stuff like that, virtual reality, artificial reality, media services. If you want to serve up live music, live video, streaming, game development, Internet of Things, mobile development, data transfer, quantum technologies, right? Robotics, satellites, different things. Of course, there are some that have a lot of services under them. There are some that don't have that many. Over time, my guess is, Amazon adds more to it. Okay. Oh, okay. One other thing when it comes to cloud computing is what we refer to as regions. Amazon supports a good number of regions. What are regions? Regions are just locations where cloud services emanate from. So, for example, there might be a US West region. That means there's a bank of servers that serve Amazon cloud infrastructure from the western side of the United States, and then there might be U.S. East, there might be Canada North or Canada something, Europe East, Europe West, Asia, Africa, different all over the world. It's basically a way to group services or to group infrastructure in packets all over the world. If you click on this drop down here on the region, you will see so US East, North Virginia is the default for me. Then there's US East, Ohio, US West, North California, Oregon, Asia. There's Canada, there's Europe, there's South America, and on like that. And over time, I mean, when AWS started out, I do not believe they started out with all of this, but over time, more regions get added. One thing to bear in mind is that not all the services that are listed here will be available in all regions. Okay, some services will be available in all regions. I will expect S3 to be available in all regions. I will expect EC2 to be available in all regions. Glacier will probably be available in all regions. RDS, Route 53, some of those core services will probably be available in all regions. But for example, quantum technologies might not be available in all regions. It might just be available maybe one or two regions in each continent. So if you are deploying, if you are spinning off service, then you need to make sure you're picking the right region for the service you are interested in. For the purpose of this class, you can keep the default region because that will suffice. And for this class, we're going to start with deploying our our JavaScript, well, not JavaScript only, our HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and any other resources. We're going to start with deploying them as static web pages on S3. But for this week, I just wanted to spend time, look around, see what is there, click around. I mean, as long as you don't delete or remove anything, you can't really mess up your account. But click around, see what is available, read some of the documentations if you can. And next week, I will have, I think I will walk you through the step on how to actually deploy the code you submitted for the midterm, how to deploy it to S3. All right.